What up, y'all? Welcome to episode 124 of Canada Got Soul, True to Size.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to True to Size. We are a weekly podcast centered around the wild world of sneakers. I will be your host today. My name is Lawrence Hopkins, and I'm joined by the rest of the quarantine at Canada Got Soul. Mr. Joel Hernandez.
Yo, yo, yo.
Mr. Alvin Martinez.
Howdy, y'all.
And are you guys ready?
Yo, bars, let's go. Bars.
And we'd like to welcome our homie from the Wild Wild West, but he ain't no cowboy. An entrepreneur, try to tell him to slow down. He say, not now, boy. A clothing line, a sneaker show, and best of all, he's always all smiles. Give it up for the homie from time, Mr. YYC Soldiers. It's Myles.
What up, yo?
Myles, Albert, all the names. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We know that you guys, as you mentioned beforehand, Calgary went through basically a bomb cyclone. I believe that's what they call it in the States. So we're glad to see you're happy, healthy, good to go, ready to rock. Feeling all right? Everything's going okay over there in the YYC?
Oh man, everything's going great. As long as the sun's out right now, we get no hail, we're good.
The clouds are going to start to roll in, and Myles will be like, be right back. Just one second. I'll pull my car inside.
Put some wood on my windows real quick.
Let me pull my whip in the garage. 1 second. Thank you for being here. We've got a great show this week. We've got some more great news to cover in This Week in Kicks, an eventful weekend to recap in our Previously in Kicks segment, and we're going to talk radio jingles in NSR. Of course, Myles is here, so before we do anything, he needs to run through the gauntlet of 21 Guestions. Then we want to unpack his soulography before we get to his many different business ventures. But first, Myles, you have 20 seconds. Can you name 5 brands who have collaborated with Vans?
Fear God, Disney.
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
One more.
Let's go.
The pressure.
Thrasher.
Woo!
Yay. Let's
Got
go, bro.
him.
Let's go.
That was good.
I have
People...
to look at my Vans wall right now.
Oh, he's got a Vans wall. I should have known that he has a Vans wall. That's cheating. Should have given him something harder. But first, Alvin.
Fire round.
Yes, the fire round. We like to start every show with a quick hitting question from you, our listeners. And this week's question comes from MC Old Ron. I'm not sure if it's MC Old Ron or Mick Oldrin. Mick Olden, yeah. Old Ron. I don't know.
Mick Rolden.
It's tough. I don't know. If you're listening, MC Old Ron, let us know.
Belated happy birthday too, bro.
Happy belated birthday. This is similar to last week when we had MC Sneakers and Mick Sneakers. We weren't sure which one it is. Again, I don't know if it's Mick Old. Well, anyways, he wants to know, what is your ideal summer kick rotation? So maybe we'll just do like 3 pairs. I know last week we spoke about not having really a typical go-to rotation. But if you had to pick 3 pairs to kind of rotate through on the regular for the summer, what would they be? Let's start with Joel.
Okay. 3 rotate. Anything white, either it's like a Air Force One, like an all-white sneaker. So something like either like Air Force One or like, like a Rivalry or whatnot. That's one of them. Anything all white. A pair of Vans, whether it's like a slip-on or like, like the old school joints or anything. And then I would probably say some comfy, like maybe like a New Balance or something. So yeah, that's my 3.
I'll take that
right now.
Summer rotation. Alvin, what about you?
I'll get more specific a little bit. I'll go with the OG white pair of like Converse.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Just because those will go with anything, and if you got a wedding, they look good with a suit.
Oh yeah.
Same goes for a pair of all white old school Vans though. And then you gotta go and make sure you got some chinelas in the rotation. For those of you who don't know what chinelas is, it's flip flops or slides or
yeah.
those thong stuff things. And then obviously you gotta stunt. So maybe some Air Max One Atmos.
Okay.
Okay.
It's kind of out of left field there on the last one, but I like it.
Yeah.
I'm also going to get super specific. I'll do pairs that I specifically own as well. I'll do, because I just got them, I'm going to call them my Chicago ones, but they're actually the LA to Chicago AJ1 SB. But that's definitely going to be heavy in the rotation this summer with some high white crew socks and some shorts. That's a look. And I'm going to do the Supreme, I always forget the name, Spectra, Thunder, I don't know what it's called. The Supreme collab with the flames on it.
With the flames.
That's definitely going to be it for sure. And then the last one, it's got to be the white chucks, low white chucks with some high white socks. Always, every year, need a new pair.
Yeah.
All right, Myles, what do you think? Summer rotation.
So I'm gonna be specific too. My first pair, because I like to do a lot of outdoor running, would be the Nike Epic Reacts.
Good call.
Actually, no, sorry, the Odyssey Reacts. Those are my go-to right now for
Odyssey
running.
Reacts. Nice.
Yeah. My second would be either the Royals, the Shadows, or the Bread ones fly knits.
Oh.
Because I like using those.
Good call.
I like using those for just like walking around, but I also play ball in them.
Oh, wow.
Those are my go-to
yeah.
ball
That's
shoes.
brave.
Yeah, right now they're.
Holy.
A lot of people say that, but you know what? It's like
You
they're
got
one of the most
strong
comfortable
ankles.
shoes that I've like put on. There's a lot of ankle support that I find with those.
Not enough. Not for me.
And then the last pair I gotta say would be I gotta throw in my a shameless plug. You know, my Legal Hustle slide.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna be my third pair right there. By Champion.
Hey. I love the self-promo is starting already. As we alluded to early, he's a man of many faces and many businesses. So throughout the show, I'm sure he'll just plug many things, and we're very okay with that. Thank you, MC Old Ron, for your fire round question. If you would like to submit a question for the fire round and have us answer it on the pod, like Mick Old Ron, please shoot us a message on Instagram or email us at canada.soul@gmail.com. Next up, the CGS picks. Each week we all pick an upcoming sneaker to analyze, dissect, and give our thoughts on. Then we decide if it's poop, scoop, whoop-de-whoop, or Alvin's trademarked phrase.
Very super cute.
And this week we're going to go in order of children that we have, and I have none, so I'm going to go first to start off. So my pick this week is the Air Jordan 1 High, and it's being dubbed the Biohack colorway. So essentially the shoe seems to be loosely based on the undefeated no-line Dunk High from whatever year it was, 2006 or whatever. Pretty cool design. It's got like the minty mint chocolate chip outsole. It's got brown heel, like very similar colors, just kind of different blocking than the Dunk. It's kind of a cool shoe. When I first saw them, I wasn't super on board, and I think the only thing really throwing me off now is the swoosh. I can't tell if it's like silver or if it's white.
Yeah.
But it kind of breaks up the shoe a little bit too much for me. I would have preferred either a color or something more neutral than the silver. It kind of just stands out a little bit too much. But overall, quality looks good. It's got similar detailing to the undefeated no-line Dunk, which is a classic. I love that shoe. The minty outsole is like super cool. You don't see that often at all. You don't see any of these colors really often at all on Jordans, let alone a Jordan 1. So yeah, these are cute. It looks like they're going to be a premium Jordan 1. So they're slated for $170 USD. So you're probably looking at $240, maybe $245 Canadian plus tax, which is a little bit more than your regular Jordan 1. But I think these might be worth it. They're pretty cool. So yeah, that's mine. Alvin, what do you got?
I got the Royal Air Jordan 3, which essentially just looks like the Chicago All-Star ones, but royal blue. I don't know. These are dope. I kind of like these better than I do the Chicago ones, just because I like the leather on the blue, and I thought that the red should have been suede, but that's just me.
Toro Bravo
style.
Nice.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Again, that's just me. But like, yeah, these look really good for some reason. I probably won't cop them just because I'm trying to be smart. But yeah, I don't know. These are super, super cute, man. Like definitely a good colorway to go through. They look like the what was it the DJ Khaled
Yeah, that looks like
We the
We the
best.
We
Best
the
or
best.
Yeah.
been the
We the
best or
best.
whatever. But yeah, I'm a fan of these ones though.
Yeah,
Those are nice.
definitely.
I like those.
I don't know if I like them better than the red. I don't know if I like either of them. That's probably why. It definitely, once again, looks like something that maybe livestock will let you know you forgot in your cart, and they send you that reminder email for sure. Definitely, I think it's going to be one of those, but not too bad. It definitely, if you have the red one, you need the blue one. I think that goes without saying.
You
Yeah,
gotta wear one of
definitely.
each.
Yeah.
You gotta wear one of each.
You're
One of
100%
each,
going to
yeah.
see one of each on someone's foot, and I don't hate
Yeah.
it. I don't. If this is one of the ones where I don't think I would hate it. It's kind of like a Lance Mountain tribute Jordan 3.
Oh
I don't know. I'm trying to justify it a little bit.
yeah, you're right.
Joel, what do you got?
Okay, so what I got is the Zoom Spiridon Cage 2.
Love it.
Welcome to the world joints. These are slated to drop sometime, I guess within the next couple of months or so. No release date yet, no price tag yet, but it's probably going to be the same as the Stussy joints that have hit like in the past couple months with with their collabos. But yeah, this one here, it's I don't know, man. Like the colors that they put together with these are it's just super dope. You got like the grays, you got the whites, you got the browns, like a mustard brown kind of mustard brownish yellow kind of thing. You got pink. But yeah, it all just gels together perfectly. As along with the materials that they use, they got suede, mesh, and leather. So all of these together into one shoe. Wow. On the heel, you got "Welcome to the World" or "Welcomes to the World." Welcomes the world on the heels. Another explanation of the shoe, like it's like boom, like welcomes to the world, like you know what I mean. But yeah, the way that they put everything together is just it's really pleasing to the eye. But yeah, man, take a look at these, like up on Sneaker News. These are super clean. But yeah, these will probably be. I'll try, but these will probably be a scoop for me.
Yeah, like like you said, they're just pleasing to the eye. Like I was never a huge fan from when they started doing this, the Spiridon Uncaged. I wasn't really a big fan, but this colorway just hits perfect. Like I didn't think that turquoise, baby blue, gray, tan, mustard yellow, pink, white, black, blue on the tongue. Like all these things don't sound like they should work together, but they're done so well. Like this shoe is so good. It's really annoying how good it is because I really want it.
For real, man.
I hate when that happens. Good pick, Joel.
All
right, Albert, what you got?
So for my pick, I chose the Jordan 1 too, but I chose the Zen Green. I actually just saw these this morning. And the reason why I chose these, like, I don't think there's any hype or anything to them, but they reminded me a lot of and I don't know if you guys are familiar with these, but they're the Nike Dunk Kermit, the frogs.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So I actually have a pair of them. These are never been used because, long story short, my sister ordered these for me on Finish Line when I was 14. They sent them to her in a size 11.5, and they never charged her credit card.
Oh,
wow.
sick.
But yeah, it was weird. But the reason, like the Jordan 1, when I saw these, I was like, man, like I've never got to wear these, and I've been trying to find a pair of Kermit the Frog dunks. So if anyone listening has a pair of these in a size 10, 10.5, holler. They just remind me a lot of them. They have the suede, the leather. The difference is it's obviously a Jordan 1. It's a Zoom Air, but it also has a nice translucent sole. The sole is it goes from like a gradient of like a light green to like a pink. And I thought that was like a nice touch to something that to me reminded me of Kermit the Frog, but it also looks like a Frankenstein like sneaker with the black and the green and the light stitching around the silver. The silver could represent like the screws in his head and stuff.
Oh,
so
true.
to me, I looked at it and I was like, yeah, it's a pretty like you could either go with like a Frankenstein pair for Halloween, or you could like for me it was Kermit the Frog. It was the first thing that popped into my head.
With
Alvin.
No, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was like, I'm with Alvin though. Like they come out in a couple weeks, but I don't know if I'm gonna cop them. But
When I first saw them, I thought it was the Brute Dunk SB High. Like, I
Dunk
thought they were
SBs,
bringing
yeah.
back the Brute Highs, and I was like, oh wait, that's a Jordan. It's literally like almost 1-to-1 is how you would do a
Yeah.
Jordan 1 in the Brute colorway, aside from
Yeah.
maybe a little bit more black than the Brute SB High.
Yeah.
I don't know if this maybe has any correlation to the pair that I was talking about, the Undefeated inspired-ish Jordan 1 that they're doing, but I don't know. If we see this trend, we might see some cool Jordan 1s coming out if they're doing some inspo based on older SBs. I think I could dig that.
I actually don't mind a lot of the colors that are coming out in the Jordan ones. Some of them I'm like questioning, like, did you really have to go that far? But a lot of them I'm kind of liking these.
What's been your favorite recent Jordan 1 of all these the new wave?
I like the fearless ones that are the red and the UNC colorway.
Oh yeah,
the patent one.
Yeah.
I like those ones a lot just because they reminded me of 2001. Was it when they did all the mids?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
it reminded me a lot about those. I think those ones are my favorite ones that have come out in the last year.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Next up, This Week in Kicks. Now is the part of the show where we discuss the current headlines and happenings in the world of sneakers. And just one thing to get on this week, and it's about Nike once again, and they just honestly keep stepping up. So since the recent wave of the Black Lives Matter protests, many brands have obviously been making bold statements, big donations, yada, yada, yada. But Nike really seems to have actually stepped up and put their money where their mouth is. So coming off of their huge donations that they announced last week, Nike has also officially made Juneteenth an annual paid holiday for their employees. So I personally had no idea what Juneteenth was, so pardon my ignorance. But for anybody else who doesn't know, Juneteenth, which takes place on June 19th, marked the end of slavery in the United States. And I didn't get the year. So it's a very important date, obviously. In an internal memo that was sent out by the current CEO, John Donahoe, it read, as many of you know, next Friday, June 19th, is Juneteenth, a day commemorating the end of slavery in the United States. Starting this year and going forward, Nike will recognize Juneteenth as an annual paid holiday in the U.S. When we say Black Lives Matter, it applies to the world outside of Nike, and importantly, it applies to our black teammates within Nike. Simply put, we need to hold ourselves to a high standard given the heritage of our company and our brand. So, I mean, not much you can say that. Like I said, Nike's really putting their money where their mouth is. They're not just doing the whole donation, black square, and getting over it in a week and a half. They've really stepped up, and hopefully this continues. But this is a good start. This is really cool, and kudos to Nike for doing that, and other brands. Hopefully just in the States in general, it'll be a paid holiday in the future, but hopefully other brands take note and also jump on that as well. Next up, previously in Kicks. This is the part of the show where we review our latest pickups and recap the latest happenings in our sneaker lives. I'm going to go last. Joel, anything?
No, other than the those rivalries that I talked about last week from StockX, they finally came.
Nice.
I got hit with like $45 for,
I thought you said it was gonna be $20, Lawrence.
No, man. Like, man, $45.
That was $20 American, bro.
It's all good, though, man.
What weren't they only like $90 Canadian after conversion and stuff?
They were $80 Canadian after conversion, and then I get the thing. Oh, you got to pay $45 at the door because of the whole COVID thing, right? Or you got to prepay it.
Oh, yeah, you're supposed to, they send the email to prepay it. There's a way, I don't know the exact way, so I don't want to get into it too much on the podcast until I've actually investigated it further. But I'll send you a link. There's a way to dispute with DHL the customs claim. And basically, because you're not supposed to be able to be charged customs on the shipping cost, you can get back like a couple percentage back. So they'll like refund your account. But I'll send you the link. A good friend of the show, Christopher Chu, sent over that link to me. But overall, how would you rate your StockX experience, Joel, out of 10?
I would rate it probably like an 8.
Oh, that's really good.
Pretty good.
Like up there, yeah.
Nice.
Just because it was like fast service and whatnot, and it was. Other than getting hit with duties, yeah, man, it was okay.
Yeah, once they hopefully figure out what's going on with the duty situation. I mean, opening that Mississauga warehouse should hopefully fix that. But once they figure out their duties, it's going to be a good problem to have. StockX is going to be a very good problem. Alvin, any pickups in the last weekend?
They weren't necessarily pickups, but our homie P, aka Northern Dot Souls on Instagram, dropped off the 2 pairs of Air Max 90s I gave to him to kind of revamp / restore. So I gave him the Air Max 90 Clerks, which I beat at Foot Locker when he used to work at Foot Locker. And another pair of Air Max 90s that were like brown, tan, and like yellow. And man, they look brand fucking new. So shout out to Big P and Northern Dot Souls for like hooking that up. Because man, like I'm gonna rock them now, man. Because before I was kind of ashamed because they were beat to shit, but like I still love them. But now I could just rock them freely and just be proud of them because they're like DS, man. So I'll just, I'm good. That's it though. Nothing else.
Yeah, they were really bad. I don't know if you posted a picture yet, but show us afterwards because they were really bad.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. See, I had one pickup. I alluded to it last week on the episode on Thursday. I didn't want to spoil it. Not spoil it, but jinx it. Just because especially with COVID going on and buying anything online, I don't trust it until it's at my door in my hand. But break it down. We'll do a little story time here. So obviously, when the Chunky Dunky Nike Dunk SB Low was originally announced, I was on board with it, but not super on board with it. I was kind of on the fence. And then as I continued seeing it, seeing the details, seeing the box, seeing all the everything, I was like, okay, this is really actually a really good fucking shoe. Entered every single raffle under the sun, did my research. Good friend of the show, Meredith Hardy Girl. She didn't actually specifically help me on this release, but just in general, she kind of says, like, if you want it, go all out, enter every single raffle. It's free to enter. Do your research, do your homework, and usually you're rewarded. And I was going to call her a stinking liar because I did not win any raffles. I struck out. I woke up, the 6 a.m. for Nike.ca, struck out, did all my due diligence, entered a NetMag raffle after, lost that too, did everything right, and did not hit. Fast forward, I guess it's almost 2 weeks later now. And good friend of the show, I owe him everything, probably just a dinner, but everything. Ahmad, AO444, sends me a raffle for an Ottawa-based skate shop called Top of the World that Alvin, we actually visited. I don't know if you remember when we visited Ottawa all those years ago. I only know that because I have a sticker on my desk that says Top of the World. So maybe that was the whole full circle thing. But he sends me a raffle, and how they were doing it at Top of the World was they got a late shipment. They announced right up front they only got 12 pairs.
12 pairs.
12 pairs. They said that they're doing a raffle. Raffle tickets are $5. All the money is going to a charity, an Ottawa-based, I believe it's a girls' skateboard organization or something. Basically encouraging youth females to skateboard more because there's not enough females in the skateboarding community. I bought, I think, 6, so I spent the $30. It was only a 2-day raffle, so I was like, all right, my odds aren't bad. Top of the World doesn't have the biggest following, but I mean, it's still Chunky Dunkies, right?
Yeah.
Signed up. It was Sunday night that I saw this. It was supposed to end on Monday. So I signed up, I bought the 6, and I was like, okay, I want to buy more. So I went back an hour later, and I was going to buy it under a different name to kind of I don't know, make me feel better. And it said sold out. And I was like, what the hell? They must have closed it earlier than they said they were going to because this is still Sunday. And I was like, okay, shit. I don't know if that makes my odds better or worse because I wanted to spend another $30. Anyways, fast forward to Monday. They announced that the raffle is going to be on Tuesday. Stressed as hell. Tuesday morning comes. And they post on their story, we're doing the raffle at 11 or whatever. Okay, sweet. 11 o'clock comes around, they post on their story, the whole big spiel, we raised this much, blah, 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 blah. And we're going to do, the Excel spreadsheet, random draw. They did it all on their Instagram, which was amazing to see, a really legit way to do it. But they said beforehand, they're we're going to do it with order numbers. So if you bought 6 tickets, your order number will be put in 6 times kind of thing. So I was like, oh shit, I gotta go check my email now to see my order number because I'm pretty sure I deleted that email. So went back, checked it, figured it out, whatever. It was 8366 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I'm at work. I go to the washroom because I'm I gotta watch this. I need serene. I need to be quiet. I just had a feeling. I just had a feeling. I was I need to be somewhere. And I'm just, I'm sitting there doing whatever, going through. They go, they do size 8. They go to size 8.5, and they get a size 9, and they have 2 size 9s. And I click the size 9, and they just kind of show the 2 winning numbers, and it says like 8366. And I was like, I did like a squint. I was like, is that? I went back to my email, checked it. I was like, is it? I checked it like 3 times. I was like, holy fuck, did I just win? And then they said, and then the last story said winners have been contacted. And I didn't get anything. I didn't get an email or anything. I didn't get a DM. I was like, holy fuck. Like, did I win, or am I still like imagining this whole thing? And it said, you'll be contacted with the method of like contact that you left on the site. And I left my phone number. So they called me. So I got a phone call like 2 minutes after, and he's like, yo, it's whatever, Craig or whatever his name is from Top of the World. I was like, yo, I just watched the story, bro. He's like, that's awesome. I was like, bro, you just saved me $2,000. I told him on the phone. So I was super jacked. Really good service. I got them by Friday, so that was Tuesday to Friday. So really quick. They were packaged like the best I've ever seen a shoe package. There was like bubble wrap. There was like styrofoam in the box. Like really, like the box is pristine. So I mean, they have a lifelong customer in me now for sure. And shout out like, once again to Top of the World. And yeah, I did literally just have them like, they're just like sitting around. Like I've just been like looking at them because they're really cool. So I've just been kind of like admiring them a little bit. I haven't been this excited about a new pickup in a long time. So excuse my 40-minute story about the new shoes that I bought. Myles, any new pickups in the last couple weeks or months?
Honestly, nothing. Like, since quarantine, I just been chilling right now. But I mean, like I said, if anyone got those Kermit the Frog dunks,
especially if they want to trade for an 11.5.
Yeah, if you want to trade for a dead stock 11.5.
Crazy.
I've always thought about selling them, but it's just like I just want them. Like it's just that shoe that I just have up on display. But until I can get a pair I could wear, then it is what it is.
Somebody listening has to have it. Come on, let's use the reach here.
Someone has to have it, and I don't want to hear like I was on Goat earlier and it was like $700. I'm like, screw that. Like, they were on eBay for $100 a couple months ago, but in like a size like 9.
That's the dunk wave in a nutshell, right there.
Oh my god.
Yeah, man.
Man, it's crazy to see how dunks are. I remember growing up and they were just like on clearance walls at like Sport Check and when I used to go to the States, when Journeys used to still have a Nike's account, that's where I used to find all my dunks and stuff, and for like $49.99. When her dollar was 1-to-1 too.
Yep, you're preaching to the choir. Believe me, like we've been on the dunk wave for a while, so we appreciate that you know what you're talking about with the dunks. I don't even know if anyone knew that there was a Kermit the Frog dunk. So thank you for inspiring another generation, and hopefully somebody.
Now they're gonna be on the hunt for that. Now I'm never gonna get them.
Now the price is gonna go.
Right? They're like, oh, Albert wants them. Okay, let's raise the price. Let's just go over to YYC Soldiers and start messaging you.
Well, now they know you just advertise you have an 11.5 for sale. So, I mean, your DMs are going to be filled up. Just wait for it. All right, next up, thumbs up, thumbs down. In this part of the show, we give our opinion on various sneaker-related topics with zero context or discussion. All we're allowed to say is thumbs up or thumbs down. And on the podcast and on Instagram and in our personal Instagrams, we're always preaching, wear your shoes, wear your kicks. Creases build character, all these things. It shows that you love the shoe and you wanted to wear it. So I want to know, thumbs up, thumbs down to paint cracked midsoles. Alvin.
Down.
Joel.
Down.
I'm also thumbs down. Albert.
I'm gonna go up.
Ah.
Just because I do myself.
Next up, NSR. We talk about sneakers a lot. So in this weekly segment, we're going to take 30 seconds out of the show to discuss something completely irrelevant to the world of sneakers. And, I've been listening to the radio a lot at work recently as opposed to Spotify. And, there's always those jingles that you remember from when you're a kid, or those jingles that get stuck in your head when you're trying to fall asleep, and they're really stupid, but they're really catchy. So I want to know, what is the most memorable, like, jingle or, like, radio ad
Oh my
or like
God.
commercial that always gets stuck in your head that you can like recite word for word? Alvin's laughing, so he must know one. What's yours, Alvin? You got to sing it too.
Don't you put it in your mouth.
Oh, what the?
So it might look good to eat. And then the end's like, if you don't know. And then, yo, honestly, growing up, that took a whole different connotation. That used to be
it
my
worked.
favorite commercial. Now I'm gonna be singing that to Kaya just for any kind of reason. Like, nah, bro.
Don't you put it in your mouth.
Oh, God. I like that's the first one that came to your head.
Yeah.
Joel, what about you? You got to sing it too.
Oh, I got to sing.
You got to sing
Oh
it too.
man. Oh, I don't know, man.
All right, I'll go first then.
Yeah, you
while
go.
you think.
You go first. Yeah.
The one that
Yeah,
comes to my mind like right away is Sleep Country Canada. Why buy a
Why buy a
mattress
mattress
anywhere else?
Bing!
Exactly.
That was what I was gonna use.
That was yours?
That was mine.
Oh my God, so bad.
Oh man.
All right, Joel, what about you? What do you got?
I don't know. It's just the radio station for like Toronto based that CHFI FM 98. Something like that.
You have a beautiful
Within
singing
those-
voice, Joel. That was
Bro,
really nice.
they should hire you to do the jingle for them
They
again.
should, yeah.
For Throwback Thursdays?
Yeah. Myles, what about you? I know I might have stole yours, but there's got to be another one. There's trillions of them.
Let's go with was this on radio? That I'm loving it, like ba-da-ba-ba-ba, McDonald's
yeah.
one?
That was everywhere.
yeah,
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 bro.
Oh, yeah.
Holy.
I had to think about that because I saw your photo of your Jordan 3s, the signed ones.
Yeah.
I just remember that right now.
That's a Justin Timberlake song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not many people know that. All right, that was about 30 seconds. That was good. That was very good singing from everybody. Next up, promos. So the only thing we have to promote this week, it's something that I was involved in and a bunch of other friends of the show are involved in, so we want to make sure we show it some love. OD Toronto, our friends at OD Toronto, are putting on a sneaker battle this whole week. It's 3 rounds. It's like a tournament bracket style thing. I was on it today. Apparently I'm going to lose because I don't have good taste in shoes. But essentially it's 1v1 on Instagram Live. This week the round is 3 of your favorite shoes from your favorite brand. So I chose Nike. I went up against Coffee and Kicks. He chose Nike as well, and we just kind of put up our 3 favorite shoes. There's a bunch of other friends of the show doing it. Some like Ink and Money is doing it. Hardy Girl is doing it. John Ratner, Heads Ain't Ready is doing it. Net Magnetism is doing it, and I'm sure I'm forgetting other people. But there's a ton.
It's like the whole family, bro.
Yeah, it's a ton of really good people. It's going to be some crazy sneakers being showed out. So, I mean, make sure you watch their Instagram lives. Every day this week at 6 p.m., they're doing a different one. And if you're listening to this and it's still Tuesday, go and vote for me because I would hate to see myself go out in the first round. My ego was way too big to see myself go out in the first round. It's just, it'd be an incredible loss for me personally.
Let me just go on all my accounts right now and just go vote for you.
Legal Hustle Clothing, YYC Soldier. It's okay. I already did it, man. I did it too. Don't worry. Canada Got Soul also voted for me, so it's all right. Anyways, the part of the show that every single person, mostly Myles, has been waiting for. This is what we do with all our first-time guests. It's a little mini game show. Myles is with child, so he must have done a decent job bagging his shorty. Apologize to her already for calling her your shorty because I'm sure she just hated that. But it's time for 21 Guestions. So how it works, Myles, it's your own little mini fire round. You have 21 questions. You have 21 seconds to answer every single one. If you don't, you fail.
Jeez.
That's not actually how it works. But anyways, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Pineapple.
Pineapple.
Question number 1. Red or blue?
Red.
Question number 2. Air or boost?
Air.
Question number 3. Pineapple on pizza?
Yes.
Correct. Number 4. Crew socks or no shows?
Crew socks.
Number 5. Adobo or sinigang?
CD gang.
Oh,
CD gang. Extra sour, yo. Extra sour.
Sour guy.
Number 6, elephant print or cement print.
Elephant.
Number 7, most comfortable shoe that you own.
Odyssey Reacts.
That's a good answer. Number 8, glow in the dark or 3M.
Glow in the dark.
Number 9, what is 46 times 8?
oh.
3,200
Nope.
some?
It is
You're close.
368. You got the first digit right. 368. Most expensive shoe you've ever purchased. You don't have to say the price, just what shoe is it?
The Adapt BBs.
Oh yeah, those are not cheap. Number 11, who is the most influential person in sneakers right now?
Damn. I'm gonna still say Tinker.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
okay.
can agree with that for sure.
Facts.
Number 12, favorite Jordan model above the AJ14.
15s.
Ooh, very underrated. Number 13, original boxes or drop fronts? I can see from behind you, but...
Original boxes.
Number 14, what are 3 sneakerheading essentials? And you can take that question however you want.
3 sneakerheading essentials.
Yeah.
Wallet, socks,
True.
shoelaces.
True.
Yep.
He's not wrong. Mostly the wallet, to be honest.
Wallet for sure.
Number 15, what is 8 times 46?
Can I call a friend?
3,000.
I just said it 4 questions ago. It is 368. Number
Jeez, putting me on
16.
the spot with these.
Number 16, Dunks or Air Forces?
Dunks.
Number 17, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Oh.
Green tea matcha.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Number 18, at what temperature in Fahrenheit does water freeze?
In Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Fahrenheit.
So close. Do you want to try again?
40, 20, 32.
32 is the correct answer. 32.
Oh. Close.
I'm sure you said all those numbers in there somewhere. Number 19, spell Fahrenheit.
F-E.
Nope. It's honestly, you know when you're typing on like Microsoft Word, and you type in a word and it's spelled so incorrectly that Microsoft Word is still like, what
It
the
just
fuck
does it
are you
for
trying to say? That's what happened when I was trying to type Fahrenheit. So I don't blame you. I'm going to spell it for you, and it's Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit.
All right.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
I'm gonna make sure I teach-
Fahrenheit.
I'm going to
Yeah.
teach that to Carter tonight.
yeah, that's his word. That's your word of the week. Fahrenheit. That's why we use Celsius, everybody. Just for anybody wondering, because we can't spell Fahrenheit. Number 20. What is your number 1 grail?
The Nike Dunk Kermit.
Oh,
And
It's
you own it.
taunting me right now, just like looking at it.
yeah.
Okay, so number 21. Would you rather receive your number 1 grail or 3 other pairs from your top 10?
Number 1 grail.
Oh, he really wants those
Ooh.
Kermits, everybody. Come on.
He wants
Somebody
those
help
Kermits,
him.
yo.
Somebody help him out.
Help
Price
him
is
out.
going up,
I know
man.
Sean
Price
Go
is
has
going... I
them.
should
Sean
just
Go
start
does have them.
downplaying them.
Sean
They
Go
should
has them in the
suck.
10 or 10.5, man.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
suck though. They're garbage.
They're not that cool.
You don't want to own them. Just give them away.
You're actually a loser if you own them. That's why Albert's trying to get rid of them ASAP. All right. You got, I think, like 1 or 2 out of 21. So maybe next time you'll do better. Next up, this is the part of the show we call your soulography. So basically, we want to know your history, your sneakerhead history, if you will. We know you have a lot of things going on for you right now, but we want to know the guts. We want to know what started it for you. So what got you into sneakers in the first place, Myles?
I think the first thing was obviously, like, I'm pretty sure like a lot of you guys was basketball. For me, it was just basketball. Jordans to me were cool, but I was very performance based. but at the same time, what at being young too, like when my parents put me in basketball, is what can they afford to get me? Um,
Facts.
so it was basketball that really got me into wanting sneakers and traveling because before StockX and all that stuff, I know there's eBay, but whenever I traveled to the States or whenever I traveled around the world, I always tried to find a shop. Like you kind of had to ask around, or if you could find a Google search or Yelp, like sneaker stores, you try to go and hit those up.
Yeah.
But for me, it was basketball and traveling and whatever like I can find that nobody else had,
Nice.
whether it just be like a colorway or just some crazy sneaker that nobody would ever wear.
Like Kermit the Frog SBs.
Like Kermit the Frog.
Like who would wear those, right?
Who? Yeah, exactly, man.
All right, so from the beginning to where you're at now, what was the sneakerhead timeline like? Like a lot of people start collecting one thing and then their style and their interests kind of peak and bow and they change as they go along. Where did it start? Where did it go? And then where is it kind of at now with what kind of pairs you're buying and hunting for?
So officially, I want to say it started in 2003. So I was about 13 years old. Whenever my parents bought me a pair of shoes for like back to school, I'd have to make sure I keep those pairs pristine for at least a whole year. So
Yep.
when I get the next pair, I still got a clean pair, and then I got a new pair for the next year. Going back to basketball, it was like I had one pair of shoes for the season, maybe two pairs if there was a deal, like when Foot Locker did the buy one get one half off and stuff back in the day. I would have two pairs maybe, and then try to keep those as clean as I can. Obviously, you're playing ball in them, so they're gonna get beat up, but I wanted to keep those as pristine as I could because I knew those would also be my street sneakers after the season was over. So it was kind of like from that, and then when I got heavy into dance, that's when like sneakers picked up even more for me. I might say, but like my style hasn't really changed since I was younger because I've always just been in the streetwear and graphic tees and like hip hop and skate. So it kind of has always been the same for me. But buying wise now, I think as I get older, I'm just buying stuff that's more comfortable to walk my kid around.
Yeah.
Facts, bro.
You've got all the
For
pairs
real.
behind you that are uncomfortable already. You need comfy shoes
Yeah, right?
for
All
real
the-
life. Yeah.
Comfy shoes.
You've got the flat-footed SBs and Jordans already. You need comfy stuff.
I'm just getting like all of these. I just wear these like to the mall, and then when no one's looking, I take them off and put my little walkers on in the car. My driving shoes.
You just have to keep the brand image alive, like show face, and then when you're at home, it's just like, give me the Odyssey Reacts, please.
The Crocs.
The Crocs. Oh boy.
Crocs.
Now we're getting into the nitty gritty. So we know what got you into it. We kind of know what your timeline was like. What's keeping you into sneakers now? What's keeping you going?
One would just be like it's a part of my life. I'm still a dancer. I still play ball, and my motto growing up was fresh on the court, fresh off the court, and that's always how it's been for me. So when I'm on the basketball court, I don't care how good or bad I am on the court. As long as I look good, I feel good. You know what I mean? And that would be the same thing for dance. Like when I would enter battles and stuff, I would always try to be as fly as I could, because in the b-boy culture too, and like I'm not in the b-boy world anymore, but as a crump dancer, I take the same mentality as like you want to be the freshest during like in the cypher, in the battles, and then when you come out of that, you're still fresh. So it's like head to toe outfit. So for me, it's just like it's been instilled that like I always want to keep that mentality of fresh at home, fresh outside, fresh on the court, fresh off the court, fresh on the dance floor, fresh off. So it's always just been like stay fresh.
Was dancing more of an influence on the sneaker style, or was it basketball for you?
It was basketball that got me started, and then as I got older, it's been dance. So everything from like the Puma Clydes to Gazelles, Vans, all that stuff. Even like the Jordan 3s I've been dancing a lot of in. Jordan 1s. I've done like battles in Jordan 11s. So yeah, I try to, whatever I used in ball, I try to still use it in dance because it still makes me feel some type of way.
Yeah.
All right, so
That's dope.
just to get, there's literally like 8 different bullet points I have here. So you're Mr. obviously Sneaker Dad, you're Mr. Legal Hustle Clothing, you're Mr. YYC Soldiers, you're Mr. Crump Dancer. What am I missing? Any bullet points there? What else am I missing?
Fighter of the Year 2005. I'm just kidding.
Manny Pacquiao's predecessor.
Manny Pacquiao.
Hey.
Yeah.
No,
Fighter of the Year
that's pretty-
2005.
15 years old. That's pretty much it. Yeah, like just community-based stuff with YYC Soldiers for me. And then Legal Hustle Clothing as my clothing company. And then Empirical Freedom and my other crew called The Other Breed would be my dance stuff. So
Okay, so I didn't miss anything, so I'm glad to hear that. So before we get into the less fun stuff, the most fun thing that I listed there was new Sneaker Dad. So first of all, congratulations once again. Little 8-month-year-old boy running around like crazy, about to dunk on you soon. How has being a father changed your perspective on sneaker buying, or has it at all?
It has because sneakers now for kids are a lot more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Facts, bro.
But the thing that I remember doing when I worked for Champs and Foot Locker was I stocked up on hella pairs when I worked. And I remember like penny days, I would find a bunch of kid shoes.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like I still try to pick them up some stuff here and there. You know, if someone wants to hook us up with a Foot Locker or Champs discount, like I'm not gonna say no to that. But for me, I think everything that I buy for him now is just stuff that, you know, sometimes I just look at him and if he's looking at a shoe, then I kind of like, do you like it? And if he kind of reaches for it, then I'll buy him those
So
pairs.
basically, you need the smallest excuse to buy him a shoe. Like anything, if he blinks the right way, you're like, oh my god, he wants these Jordan 1s so bad. He has to have
His
them.
head's tilted one way while sleeping, pointing at like a Jordan 1. But I think like a lot of the pairs that I've always wanted to get like a kid, I've got when I worked at the Foot Locker and Champs company. So he has pairs like waiting to be worn. He actually just outgrew his Shadow ones last night. I tried putting on his feet and they wouldn't fit no more, and I was like, no.
Yeah, bro. They usually fit him for like a week or two and then you're done.
Yeah.
Get your pictures in while you can.
Yo, fact.
I try to force his foot into it. Real quick. Just a quick photo, and he's like crying.
Has the Sneaker Dad thing affected your personal sneaker buying at all? I know you said you've slowed down to a near halt now, but has it affected your whole outlook on the whole sneaker thing, like giving you a different perspective on it?
I think it has, yeah. I think for me, it's just like, you know, I got to enjoy it, and now that I have a son, I want to be able to give him something that he'd enjoy. Like, if he's not into sneakers, then, you know, I'm not going to be like, you have to like sneakers. I want to, if he's into, you know, like right now he's in a Paw Patrol, and I'm like in a Paw Patrol. like I'm buying Paw Patrol action figures and stuff, and like watching Paw Patrol with him. But yeah, it has taught me a lot because growing up, my dad did the same thing for me, where when I was into basketball, he was into basketball. When I was like in a Pokemon cards, he was in the Pokemon cards, but he never forced anything on me. So shout out to my dad, because Father's Day is coming up on Sunday.
Facts.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like for me is as a dad, you know, I've got all the shoes that I want right now, except for the Kermit the Frog dunks. So I'm just enjoying whatever, like what I have, and whatever, like the money that I've put into sneakers, I'd rather put into him and whatever he's invested and interested in.
It's kind of like a dramatic irony, and I'm not trying to draw a stupid sneaker parallel to have a cool title for the podcast. But I know that one of your shoes is the New Love Jordan 1, if I'm not mistaken. I know you have like 800,000 pairs of those, and you could almost say that having a son and being a father is your new love now.
Yeah. Hey, I like that. My wife is gonna like that.
You need an
That was
excuse
the
to
pair
buy more pairs.
that was the pair she wore when I first met her, was the New Loves.
Oh, is that
Oh,
the
nice,
story?
And
yo.
Is
and I
that
did like, hey, quick story, but
please? Yeah.
when I was teaching dance, like I was teaching my first ever dance workshop, and my buddy asked one of his coworkers, who's Suniza, who's my wife, to come check out the class. So she came, and I still remember everything she wore. She wore New Loves, these baby blue sweatpants, and like a white tee. And the first thing she walked in, and I was just looking right at her feet. And I've always wanted this pair. At this point, I haven't owned them yet. And she
Uh,
walked in, and I didn't even look at her yet. And I was like, damn, nice shoes. And I like look up, and I was like, oh shit, like who
Damn,
are
nice
you?
face.
Nice
And
face,
my
girl.
That's
my
how we got her, bro.
my buddy Rupert was like, "Oh, Bert, this is Suniza," and I was like, "Oh, like I like your shoes," and I kind of just like froze,
I like your shoes.
just all like, "I like your shoes." But yeah, that was pretty much like the start of like how we became friends, and then we were friends for a bit until July of 2009 we started dating. But I met her in
Nice.
2008, and she was rocking the New Loves, and I remember when we went to Hawaii together for the first time. That was before YYC Soldiers, and it's kind of where I got the YYC Soldiers idea. Was I was on a trip to Hawaii, and I randomly ended up at a sneaker convention, and it was like their second sneaker convention that they've ever had. And I ended up there from two guys that I saw at the mall, and at this time for Legal Hustle, I was running a blog, and in the blog I did outfits of like around the world. So wherever I traveled, I would take pictures of people's fits, and I would describe what they're wearing and like ask them a couple of questions. And this guy was like, "Oh, I took a photo of him at the mall," and he's like, "I'm surprised you're not at Soul Searching." And I was like, "What are you talking about, Soul Searching?" He's like, "It's a sneaker convention here. Aren't you from Hawaii?" And I was like, "No, I'm from Canada." So he told me and my wife were to go. We jumped into a taxi and we made it to the location like 10 minutes before shutdown. And then
Oh,
I was like, right away, I was already networking with people, like meeting them, like how do they start this community? Because Calgary didn't have this yet, and Calgary didn't even have a Facebook group yet. So this was 2012 when this happened. And as we were about to leave, this guy pulls out a pair of New Love ones in a size 10,
cool.
and he's like, he was asking, he was like, "Hey, what do you want to do with these?" He's like, "Oh, I thought we sold them." He's like, "No, no one wants to buy them." I was like, "How much do you guys want?" They're like, I don't know, like $50. I like went through my wallet and I had one $50 bill, one $50 bill in my wallet. So I bought that pair, and yeah, like that was pretty much the end of the story
The
until they
rest is
rented it.
history there. Damn.
That's crazy, bro.
Well,
Crazy, yo.
I love that you alluded to all that because that's what I wanted to get into next, the whole YYC Soldiers thing. So just briefly, you kind of gave a teaser of it, but tell me a little bit more about YYC Soldiers.
So YYC Soldiers was a Facebook group that I created back in 2012 after that trip to Hawaii. Um, for me, before all of this stuff, I was also working as a club promoter. So I was already networking with people, and people knew I was into sneakers, and I knew people that worked at like in the south side of Calgary that were into sneakers, and I knew people in the north side of Calgary that were into sneakers, but they didn't really know each other. And YYC Soldiers, like I got after speaking to some of the OGs in Hawaii, and they were talking to me about like this is how they started. They started off as a Facebook group, and then it went from like 50 people to like I think at the time when I met them was 500 members in that group. And they just told me they did it on Facebook, and they started with that. So that's what I did, where I was like, man, if you don't know this person from this person from like two sides of the city, like let's find a way to connect you guys together. And at the same time too, and I've told this to a couple people, but now people are gonna hear it. I also started YYC Soldiers to look for pairs that I couldn't buy when I was younger.
Ah, nice.
Because we used to have
Real.
like on our page, we had like a whole size list of everyone that had like what size were you, and they would put their size in. And I would look through everyone from size 10 to 10 and a half, like, and I would start messaging them like, "Hey, are you guys selling anything? Like, what do you have? I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that." So it was kind of that, like my way of getting it was to connect everyone in the city together, and at the same time find pairs that I couldn't get before that were all in my size.
I do love the secondary motive there. Like, yeah, I was a community builder, and also I really wanted some personal pairs of shoes. But that's just the end of the story. So the whole YYC Soldiers, it started as a Facebook group, and now you've expanded it to a lot more than that. So it started as the Undies Sneaker Expo, if I'm not mistaken. And
that was the first show that we did. Yeah,
and now you've rebranded it to the Calgary Sneaker Swap, if that's that's correct. And you're on your sixth one now. Is the sixth one is the one that was postponed?
Yeah, the sixth one was the one that was postponed.
And it was the first ever, say it for the people in the back, Sneaker Expo in Calgary. You did that.
Yeah.
So go ahead, please. Yeah, tell us about it.
The Sneaker Swap was like a collective of ideas. So it was between myself, Andrew Fung, and Adam Carestes, and we kind of like put our brains together. And we also had another member at the time, Andrew Joaquin, that when we first do the show together, it was like one of these, the Facebook group is growing, right? So let's get people off the keyboards now, and let's get the keyboard warriors out there too, and stop talking shit and show face. But it was a way for us to get everyone off the keyboards and to come meet face to face. Because the only time we would really meet people would be during sneaker lineups. And then from that, we threw our first show. We called it UNDS, and to us it makes sense. But to the general public that are not sneakerheads, they were like, "What's UNDS?" And you had to explain everything to them. And come the second show, that's when we rebranded to the Sneaker Swap. But yeah, since then we've been throwing shows from 2015 up until I'm gonna say last November, and then this year, just to replace the Sneaker Swap for the number 6 Sneaker Swap this year, we did a week long of giveaways with different sponsors and stuff from local companies from around Canada. So yeah, man,
very cool.
It's been growing.
And you're a huge reason for that, obviously. What was it kind of like trying to get, as you mentioned, you're trying to get people off the keyboard and to actually show up, which is hard to do in the 2010s because people just want to sit at home and be on their phone and on their keyboard. How was it trying to basically get a community to come to an event when the community had never even seen anything like this before? The community didn't even know they were a community at this point. What was it like trying to get people to get out of their houses and come out and actually experience it?
I don't know if it's hard to say if it was hard because Calgary never had that to begin with, right? So it was kind of one of those experiments where let's just do it and see if people come. So the first show we did, we had about I want to say 20 vendors.
That's pretty good.
First show.
One.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Maybe between 15 to 20. And then about 450 people came.
That's awesome.
To the first show.
Yeah.
And then the second show and up has been almost in the thousands now of people coming and vendors. Last year, I think we had about 45 vendors.
Very
and
cool.
They came from different aspects of Calgary, and then some came from outside of Calgary. I think we just had to do it to show the city. There was a lot of people that questioned it. They're like, oh, it's going to just be another sneaker con. And my response was well, have you been to sneaker con in Calgary? I didn't think so. Are you going to fly out to Toronto or Vancouver or anywhere else around the world? If you're not going to, support local. Yeah. There's always going to be that balance of people hating and people that are that are for it. So I think it was when we threw our first show, there was a lot of people that loved it, and they just said, this is what Calgary needs. And they were like, could we have more?
Always.
So that's kind of where, and there was always the people that say, oh, I couldn't make it to this one. Is there going to be another one this year? And it wasn't until 2018 was when we started doing the 2 shows a year, the biannual shows. So we did one in spring and we do one in winter. And since then, we've been throwing the winter shows, which it's been the same thing. It started off small, and last year was holy crap, we weren't expecting that many vendors and people to come to this show.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah.
That's sick.
So why do you keep going? I know you said you started for a very modest reason. You wanted to bring some people together. You wanted to get some shoes yourself. We personally know, the 3 of us, we've been doing shows for a long time. We've sort of transitioned into doing, I guess you could call Shoe Hall our own little show. We know it's not easy. We know it's a lot of work. We know it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of late nights, early mornings, a lot of arranging, a lot of people. Why do you keep doing it now that it's 6-7 years later? Why are you still going?
Just for the love of it, man. And for me, it's like I didn't really have a lot of people to look up to that were doing what they wanted to do, like as an entrepreneur or like as a business owner or something. A lot of the people that I would try to learn from were business store owners that we had in Calgary at the time. So whether it be Goodfoot or we had Group 7, we had livestock here. Like I was all about networking and learning. So for me, I just do because I love it. I have a passion for it, but at the same time, I'm kind of setting the stepping stones for Carter. So for him to kind of see that, hey, my dad went against the grain of not just being, as a Filipino, your parents want you to be a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, all that kind of stuff. I went to the route of like owning a clothing company and running a sneaker swap and helping with the sneaker community here. And on top of that, like my team, like we have 4 other volunteers that help us out. So me and Adam are the main guys running it, and then we have Andrew kind of just like helping when he can. Obviously, like he's living in Toronto with you guys now, right? And then we got Jermaine, we got Kevin, AJ, and Harkirit, and these guys help us with running the events as well. So me and Adam kind of do more of like the financing and setting everything up, and then we got the rest of the team that come in and help us with the events, help us with our Facebook page, help us with like our Instagrams and all that kind of stuff. Because when it was just the 2 of us, like me and Adam doing everything at one point, it was like, oh my God, like it gets
It's a lot.
stressful. Yeah. So we're trying to run an event and like taking care of insurance for the event, making sure there's like the table set up and making sure it's up to fire code and this and that. And there's a lot of things you gotta learn, and there's like a lot of people think it's easy. It's like, okay, well, I'm just gonna rent this space and put tables up and people are gonna buy it. It's like, nah, man. It takes a lot of work to try to get vendors to come out, because you always got to offer them something. Like how's it gonna work out for me if I leave my store, or like leave my store open for half a day to go to the event and all this kind of stuff. So there's a lot of learning that comes from it. I think being a promoter in the nightlife kind of helped out with understanding the mentality of how people work from buying tickets. Like in Calgary, people love buying tickets last minute. Like the night before the buy tickets. Like there are times where me and Adam would look at our sales and tickets, and it's like for the first like month we're like selling. Then the second month comes, it's like crickets. And then the night before the event, like before midnight hits, when we take the tickets off the website, it's like 200 tickets sold online. It's like, geez, like where were you guys before we were like thinking about canceling and stuff? But it's it's being an entrepreneur, you take those risks, right? And you think about the bigger aspect of things. So we think about the community, and for us, it's all about like the kids. Because the older we get, we can only preserve so much of the culture, and then it's up for the kids to put the rest of the footwork in. So we just kind of want to show them there's more to just like having the most expensive sneakers or being the coolest guy with the sneakers. Like there's an appreciation for everything that you have.
Absolutely. I mean, I just want to say that we all need to do a better job, because judging by the people who voted on the ODTO story, we're not doing a good enough job promoting that expensive and new sneakers are the cool one. But anyways, so as you kind of mentioned there in passing, you also do a clothing line. I believe that's like your primary thing, called Legal Hustle Clothing. We're going to plug it as much as we can. So what made you want to start your own clothing brand in general? And when did it start really officially?
So if it officially started in 2011, but I've always just had this plan of owning my own clothing brand. Growing up, I was always into fashion and streetwear, and I would try to take whatever I could. Like if it was like a Gap sweater, or like even a hoodie from American Eagle, I would try to make it look as street as I could. And then there was a point, I want to say around grade 11, grade 12, where I was like, man, every time I get money, I'm putting money into these businesses when I could like learn how to do this stuff and invest in myself and create my own brand with stuff that I want to put out. So I had this whole plan from high school that I was gonna get a job in the aviation industry because my dad has been working in the aviation industry for over 50 years now.
Oh, wow.
So, and he's been regarded as like one of the best here in Calgary. So I kind of used my last name to leverage my way in. So I was lucky enough to go to school. I got my education as like a aircraft structures technician, and I got a job. And from there, I kind of just worked, saved money up, and then from that, I took myself back to school for business, and then I took whatever I had left to start my business. So I did everything from like incorporating my business, getting all my licensing, everything. Like I did everything legit off the bat, just because like I just wanted to make sure everything was good. You know, I didn't want to. I've always been told these stories of like, yeah, you should just do like copywriting and stuff and just pretend you have these paperwork. I'm like, why would I pretend when if I could get the money now and do it, like get it out of the way and all that kind of stuff. So the clothing started back in high school, and it was just like I had this mindset of this is what I was going to do. And since then, yeah, 2011, we've been going on for 9 years now. Some of the stuff is like it's been featured on Kim's Convenience. It's on Netflix. I seen a little bit of it in that Beyonce Homecoming documentary. Like it was a quick glimpse, but enough for my friends to see and like text me, and they were like, "Hey, it was on there." I'm working with a former WWE Cruiserweight champion on like we just dropped a collab a couple weeks ago that we worked on for about a year. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm trying to work with like I'm trying to put wrestling and streetwear together.
Sick.
So,
They fit
Nice.
pretty well. I mean, that's the way the WWE's been going, is they're trying to get very street wise. You
Yeah.
see all the guys wrestling in sneakers and wearing sneakers to and from the
Yeah.
ring. So I mean, it fits really well.
Yeah.
What's kind of been the hardest thing about working for yourself, like doing your own thing, being your own boss?
I want to just say, like you're constantly learning. Like it's hard and it's not hard. Um, like currently I'm back in school right now with Parsons University in Complex doing the streetwear program.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I took that just to kind of like learn more about the industry, but I've also learned a lot along the way to printing my own product now. So instead of actually going to a screen printer and stuff, like a lot of the 90% of the stuff that I print is like in my basement or in my house, like in my office
Nice.
is like I'm printing all that stuff. Um, and then just like sometimes it's getting help, like I was set this year to look into hiring an assistant and all that kind of stuff, and then COVID hit, and it was
Yeah.
like, well, like I could try to find
Damn.
someone to do it online, but like it's hard to kind of explain what I need them to do and like show them how to work some of the machines and all this stuff if they're not here. But yeah, it's just like doing everything on my own. Trying to find inspiration all the time gets hard sometimes. Because I try not to be trendy because I don't want. And I think that's what worked out for my company is like we've never fallen into trends.
Because those come and go.
Yeah, like I've had a lot of
Yeah.
people tell me like when Kanye came out with like the scoop tees and the rip shirts and the zippers on the sides and stuff, people are like, oh yeah, you need to make shirts like that. And for me, it's like if I'm not gonna wear it personally, like I can't put it out there just to make a buck off of it.
Absolutely.
And I've seen companies like come and go because of that. Like they fell into that trend. They found suppliers that would make them a whole bunch of like trendy stuff. And then when the trend changed, it was like they were just left with all this stock and you couldn't do anything with it anymore. So I try to stay like true to classic streetwear from like just the graphic tees with like the stories and everything behind them.
That's very dope. As we've mentioned, you're a man of many hats, a man of many sneakers, and we appreciate you. We wish you all the best. I mean, you're working on a lot of stuff, but stay focused on all these things.
Thank you, guys.
We've been ending every single episode for the last couple of weeks with a frontline worker shout out. There's people out here who are literally risking their livelihood to make sure that the world is staying safe in this crazy pandemic and this crazy time. We've been asking our listeners to send in their nominations, and every week we've been reading out a different one. And this week we have one coming from James B. Will out of Ontario, and he's nominating his wife, Kate. And he says, my wife is an, I don't even know how to say this, epidemiologist. It's the study of disease statistics, a very specific thing. He says, my wife is an epidemiologist and actually has a PhD in it. She focuses on disease outbreaks and pandemics, usually at a much smaller level, obviously, and has been on mat leave since February, taking care of our second child. Congrats, James B. Will and Kate. With the pandemic happening and the outbreak in our country, she was asked to come back to work on Sunday and starts this Thursday. It will require some field work, so she's a little scared, but she wants to be part of making the community healthy again. He says, I'm proud of her for going back and making a difference. So, I mean, that's friggin' awesome. Kate, thank you for what you're doing. James B. Will, thank you for listening. Albert, Myles, Mejia, thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us your story. Thank you to everyone who supported and or been a part of the podcast. Wherever you're taking in the episode, please leave a comment, review, follow, and or subscribe. We've got a Facebook group, like this is a forum, sell stuff and connect with you guys called CGS Talk. You can find it on facebook.com/group/cgs.talk. We've got a website we use for reviews, recap stories, and much, 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 much more called CanadaGotSold.ca. If you have any questions or suggestions for any of our segments like the Soul Poll, Sneakerheading for Dummies, or the Fire Round, shoot us a DM or email us at CanadaGotSold@gmail.com. Of course, do not forget to use hashtag CanadaGotSold on Instagram for a feature. I've been Lawrence Hopkins. You can find me at LDoggyStyles on Instagram. Woof.
I'm Joel Hernandez. You can find me at Joe Dooney, JO_D3OsNEY.
My name is Alvin Quincy, and you can find me at MISTERQ and then Mart.
Albert, list off all those accounts, bro. Let's hear it.
And I'm Albert Myles Mejia. My personal Instagram is at MylesLHC with a Y. YYC Soldiers, SOLEDIERS. And my clothing company, Legal Hustle Clothing.
Nice. Thank you, Albert, and thank you for listening to us talk about sneakers for 124 episodes. And please remember to rock your kicks. This has been True to Size. We have been CGS and Myles LHC, and we are out. Peace. That was dope, bro. Thank you. That was really fun.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks, bro.
Yo, thanks for letting me share that story, man.
Of course, bro.
Yeah, it's a good story, bro.
Why not, bro?
Who else are you going to
Wifey's
tell?
gonna be happy about that, the new love story. Especially since you guys brought that up.